Welcome, everybody, and we are fired up for another sensational college football matchup. Nobody at home today who can stake their claim in this neutral site showdown. Today, a top 25 matchup on hand, two of college football's premier teams preparing to square off. As we'll see the number 2 team in the country, the Georgia Bulldogs, taking on the 15th-ranked team in the land, the Alabama Crimson Tide. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, joined here in the booth, as always, by David Pollack and Jesse Palmer. Guys, let's tee this one up. Alabama about to kick off to get this game underway. Fair catch called for and made. Timeout called by... Their first of the half as they'll go to the sideline and try to make adjustments. First down here for the offense. And they get him out of bounds, but not before a sizable pickup on that one. And the Dogs hunkering down to pick up a first down on the ground.
Yeah, and you can hear the sound of Larry Munson. Run the dang ball. That's what they've always built this program on, is running the football, physical running backs. That's what Georgia does.
Oh, man, there's some big hitting going on in the trenches right now. This defense, they take a lot of pride in stopping the run. Let's keep our eye on them throughout the course of the game and see if they can contain this running attack.
Pass to sticks and still on his feet. Stop is made at the 44, but it's a 15-yard gain and a first down.
I think it's really important for this offense. They get this guy going early in the game, and they're doing a nice job of that right now. Remember, he's the kind of running back who gets better as the game goes on. That's a really good omen for this offense, considering his success now early.
The offense showing motion from the tight end, trying to get a read on the D. And the defense makes the stop after a minimal gain.
That's a really good job by the defense, wrapping them up, getting them on the ground. Take away that run game. Make them one-dimensional, put them in passing situations. Really good job by the defense.
Looking downfield, it's Beck. A shot toward the end zone. Oh, right through his hands. They came out attacking, wanted to impose their will, and they missed a big chance on that one. After the second down misfire, looking at a 3rd and 8. The snap sets up to throw. Unloads to the wideout. And it's incomplete. Good play downfield by the DB. This offense has moved into plus territory, and they want to keep the heat on. They'll go for it on 4th down. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. He's got him, and they convert. Finally run out of bounds, but he has this offense rolling with a first down. And let's hold on just a minute here as the officials are going to have a second look. After taking another look just to confirm everything, the officials on the field got it right. Play will stand. Georgia ready to dial it up on another first down. He's dropped behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a loss of 3.
I love this linebacker because he's able to dissect what's happening in front of him, and he reacts downhill. He uses his speed to get to the line of scrimmage and create the negative play.
Quarterback wants to throw on 2nd down. Getting some heat. And the defense picks up a sack, getting the quarterback down at the 44. Georgia comes quickly to the line. On 3rd and long, a check down would be the last resort. He lost one down the sideline. And that ball is intercepted at the goal line. And the offense makes the tackle in frustration after the interception. Drive comes up empty, and it's a turnover. Looking for a productive play on 1st down. He's going to pass. Using the quick game. They make the stop, but this passing game does some damage, and they move the sticks with the first down.
It's a really nice-looking throw. This dude is a weapon in this offense at the quarterback position. It's so funny. I think back to guys like Greg McElroy and A.J. McCarron, guys that may or may not have unfairly been tabbed as game managers. And then you think of Jalen.
Fires a bullet. Now it's picked off. Trying to take it back. Running inside the 20. Touchdown, Dogs! How about that D coming up with a play like that? That's one of those plays you put a highlighter beside. It can really swing a game.
100%. There's a couple plays a game where you go back and you look like, man, that changed the whole outcome. What an unbelievable play by the defense, not just to get the turnover, to score the points off of it.
Not going to risk a return here. He'll make the fair catch. Here comes that Alabama offense. The big thing now, don't get rattled by that last pick 6, David.
Nah, it was a big mistake. Obviously, the defense took advantage of it, but you got to put it behind you. Jesse, I'm sure you know.
Into double coverage, and it's intercepted.
This is obviously not a great start for this quarterback here. 2 interceptions already in this game. He's got to do a much better job with his decision-making.
And the offense takes over to dip into its bag of ball plays. Looking for a crease. It's Etienne. Shakes off the defender. And they drag him down, but not before he picks up the first down. Aga trying to make this red zone trip pay off. They'll give it to him again. Able to get one down to the 15.
And offenses want to continue to feature the run. They want balance. Even if it's not super successful, you can take it little bit at a time just to keep that defense honest.
2nd down coming up. These DBs going to give a little cushion.
That's the end of the first quarter. With the score, Georgia 7, Alabama 0.
2nd down now as they're ready to go back to work. The pirouette on the run. He'll be down at the 4-yard line after that terrific run.
And I don't care if I get it by 2, by 20, by 30, by 40. I just want to get the first down, understanding the situation, understanding where the sticks are. Doesn't have to be sexy, but I got to make sure I get to that stick, get to the first down mark.
He pushes it forward all the way to the 2-yard line. Offense trying to pay it off on 2nd and goal. And he runs it in for the score. Touchdown, Bulldogs! Offense did exactly what it's supposed to do with a start like that one.
When you're set up with that field position, you're thinking touchdowns. You're not thinking field goals. It's exactly what the offense does. Takes advantage of great field position.
Almost ready to kick it away after scoring the touchdown. The kickoff bounces through the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 25. The Tide offense rolls onto the field. Now we'll get a chance to see if they can answer that last score, trailing by 14, Jesse.
Yeah, and at this point in the game, I feel like offensively, you should go back to what's been working for you in this game. Don't be afraid to dial up plays that you've already had success with, running it and throwing it. It's okay to repeat plays down 14 at this point.
And I would also say, Palmer, kind of understanding that my defense is not playing great, so I know offensively I got to put some good possessions together here, make something happen on this side of the football.
Now the quarterback changing the original play call. Pocket starts to collapse. And the defense gets to the quarterback. They'll tell you that somebody's always going to pop open, but it didn't happen in time before they got the sack.
No, it did not. And you know what? I'm going to remember this. I'm going to remember zone defense. They didn't really have an answer. They weren't ready to get rid of the football. Quarterback hesitated. I got to him and got him on the ground. Might be a good call later on in the game.
This offense has a 2nd down play. Dropping back, it's Milroe. Gets it out fast. Still running at the 40. And he was loose and not stopped until he gets to the 47-yard line. Finally, this offense starting to shake the cobwebs and get things moving. It's 1st and 10. Motion trying to get the defense to show his hand. Trying to find his man on 1st down. They're bringing heat. Trying to escape and get it himself. A timeout is called as this offense tries to find a way to get more points on the board before the half. Alabama with a 1st and 10 here. He's looking to throw it. Fires to the wideout. Makes a connection. They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there and still a little ground covered. Pick up the 1st. Offense gets set for 2nd down. He's looking to throw. And here's the 3rd interception of the night. Got room on the return. The 30. He's at the 20. Touchdown, Georgia! What a great play by the defense and paying it off with the interception return. Look, I know it's only the 2nd quarter, but we're starting to see a pretty significant gap develop between these two teams right now.
No doubt. When your defense is scoring, your offense is scoring, good things happening for your ball club. This defense on point, reading their scouting report, making big plays.
The ball squirts through the end zone. That'll be a touchback. They'll bring it out to the 25. Here comes that Alabama offense. Trailing by 3 touchdowns. If you're going to get back in it, David, the time to start is right now.
Got to start now. Defense giving up points on that last possession. Again, the offense is going to have to score, and Jesse probably scored pretty quick.
Yeah, you got to go tempo. You're going to have to try to fit in as many plays as you can throughout the rest of this game. But I think more than that, you got to eliminate the negative plays. No more penalties and no more turnovers.
This time he's got it. At midfield, he's got room. We got a timeout here late in the first half, and they'll try to get more points on the board before the break. Time dwindling away as they try to put points on the board right before the half. Quarterback reacting to what the D is showing. Scanning the field, it's Milroe. Fires deep toward the end zone. And it's caught! Touchdown, Crimson Tide! Lining up to add another. Just got a little casual with it and blew the extra point. So here comes the kickoff after the touchdown, and the last thing you need right before the half is to give up a big return. That might be overdoing it, keeping it away from the return man as the kickoff goes out of bounds. One more play before the teams head to the locker rooms. This defense will try to keep everything in front. They'll throw it on first down. Pressure coming. The pass is incomplete, and 1 second is left.
Man, you know, you always look back in games at single plays that turn the tide. With this defense now trailing by 2 possessions, if they could have just caught the ball and gotten that pick, that potentially changes everything in this game. That was a missed opportunity.
Just enough time for one final play of the half. He wants to throw here on second down. Time to take a shot. It's incomplete, and they tried to get one on the board before the break and couldn't quite make the connection. So the first half has come to a close. We'll take a break and head over to the halftime show. Georgia will kick it deep to start the second half. That one bounds through the end zone, and it'll be a touchback. Tide offense rolls onto the field. Down 2 possessions to start this third quarter. They'd love to build some early momentum.
You ain't lying, because you only got so many possessions here in the second half, so now you're down. I got to maximize every single one, put your best plays together, start this drive off on a good note.
Yeah, it starts right here. Obviously, you can't get it all back on this drive, but you can create that momentum. You can create something special and some energy, but it's going to start with this offense here executing at a high level.
Grab near the marker. It's Hale. And they'll finally get him down after a terrific pickup. Now they'll line it up from the 44 on 1st and 10. Quarterback changing the plays at the line. Defense a little too eager, and that's an encroachment penalty, 5 yards for the offense. After the flag, distance for a first down cut in half. They can really get aggressive on 1st and 5. Wants to throw. It's Milroe. Got his man quickly. Got room at the 35. And they got the defense on that one, and they get it to the 29-yard line. Alabama comes to the line with 1st and 10. He wants to throw. Snagged in the middle. It's Williams. He's there to make the stop, but the damage has been done as they pick up the first down on the throwing catch. Alabama trying to cash in on this red zone trip. They're threatening to score, and they'll throw it. Got out of trouble, got rid of it. Touchdown, Alabama! Made the snag and strolled his way into the end zone. How about this? A 2-point conversion coming. Barrels ahead. This time he'll be stopped short of the goal line. So after scoring the touchdown, he tried to tack on the 2-point conversion but was denied. Lining up to cover the kick after that touchdown drive. He'll call for the fair catch here. And Georgia ready to go back to work on offense. I know they put up really good numbers on offense, but David, they're starting to feel a little game pressure right now.
Exactly. That scoreboard's starting to get a little bit tired cutting into that lead. Now, you know every possession matters, Palmer. A little pressure for this offense.
Yeah, and so you can't get tight, right? The best players on this offense now need to step up, and they need to start making plays. You got to identify where those one-on-ones are.
From the gun, the ground game. They bring him down, and he's going to lose a yard on that one.
Let's go. When you see snot bubbles coming out of the offensive player, you know it was a good lick. The Mike linebacker sits right in the middle of the field, ready to roll, ready to lay the hammer.
Wide receiver shows motion. On 3rd and long, he's going to have to throw for it. Makes the grab. Coming through that 3rd down conversion, and they'll mark it at the 43. This dude is just exceptional in every facet. So fluid, such a great route runner, and a big play there.
And money down, 3rd down, find him. I mean, you want to find that matchup because he's going to win. And gets a good release, gets down the field. You see that's your playmaker, that's your guy. Get it to him and get the 1st down.
I love that play call. This offense is going to run the football. They're not just going to do it between the tackles, but they're going to attack you outside. You saw that with that handoff. They get to the right. They get him in space using his speed. Good play call.
On the run, it's Etienne. Oh, the sweet spin, and he's free. And how does he keep running? I'd be dizzy after a spin move like that.
1st down, you know you always want to establish the running game. How about this offense? Nothing fancy. Run the football, be physical, get a big gain.
They bring him down, and he's going to lose a yard on that one. Second down here as they go back to work after the break. Picked up maybe a yard. It's down at the 16.
He's marked down at the 16-yard line.
They line up with some serious work to do if they want to convert this one. Quick timeout call by the offense after the play.
Timeout, Georgia.
3rd down conversions are a huge stat, and this one would be a doozy if they can pull it off. Wide out in motion. Looking for a man. It's back. Looking to buy time. Unleashes to the end zone. And here's the pick, and oh, did they need that right now. And they'll drag him down after a good return on the interception.
And he's still got time. Great job on the defense doing the most important thing, getting the ball back to their offense. Now the offense has to answer the bell, but good job creating the turnover. Now the offense, your turn.
Fires left. And the physical play there forces the incompletion on 1st down. After the quarterback and receiver failed to hook up, they'll try it again on 2nd down. Quarterback making adjustments with his receivers. Trying to get to him. And he was hit just as he was releasing the pass, and it falls to the ground incomplete. Not exactly the ideal situation for this offense. 3rd and long, back up inside their 20. Fires to the big fella. Coming out, attacking from deep in their own end, and they're out at the 26 with the 1st down. Bunch formation, trying to spring a guy free. He wants to throw it again. They're trying to get to it. Can't find his man as he took a shot trying to deliver that football, and it'll be second down. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. Dialing up a second down pass play. Throws to the wideout. Just master that sideline and getting the toe down for the catch.
Well, that's exactly why you practice these 2-minute situations. The quarterback knew exactly where to go. He's trying to work the sideline, save some clock. Great route by the receiver getting open, making the catch, getting out of bounds. And this drive is off to a pretty good start.
Going up top on first down. Feeling some heat. And the pressure gets to it. Down goes the quarterback. Negative play on first down. That's what a defense always wants. Back to pass. It's Milroe. He fires a bullet to the right. He's got it downfield for a huge gain. The Tide with the 1st and 10. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Quarterback will audible. Wants to throw on first down. Unloads to the wideout. How about getting the foot down on that throw for the big completion? On 1st and 10, trying to strike from the 15. Defense trying to keep this offense from getting a line on who to block. Looking to pass inside the red zone. Lets it fly. Can't make the grab as he was looking for his man right at the goal line. Line getting set on second down. A little pre-snap eye candy for the defense. Right back up top on 2nd and 10. Touchdown, Bama! You thought they were done. They're not. They're back, baby. Lining up for the PAT. And the PAT will draw them 1 point closer. Now down by 2, inside a minute to go. If they can get this onside kick, maybe they could get into field goal range. They were ready for the onside kick and executed perfectly, and they secure the football. We're ready to get another look at this Bulldog offense. So we've got a tight spot here, David. They'd love to run out the clock, but all those timeouts staring at them.
They got 3 timeouts on defense, but I know a first down ends this football game. So I got to get my guys physical, ready to roll.
Yeah, because you know this defense is going to be playing the run. They're going to be loading the box, trying to get tackles, using their timeouts to get the football back. So this is going to come down to who's better in the trenches.
Grab behind the line. It's Smith. Timeout called there by the defense, desperate to get the ball back and save as much time as possible. They're facing a 3rd down. Corners are going to bail. He's dropped behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a loss of 3. Defense uses a timeout quickly, trying to get that ball back and preserve time for their offense. They have the lead in a 1-possession game, but they're thinking deliver the knockout blow, but this carries big-time risk on 4th down. He'll go up top, maybe a deciding play here. The short hands, it's Lovett. Really nice pickup on that one as they get it to the 36. It'll be 1st down.
That's an awesome effort by the receiver there because he didn't have the first down once he caught the pass. He had to be able to make a guy miss. And with his athleticism and skill, he's able to do that. And as a result, fresh set of downs for the offense.
They bring him down, and he's going to lose a yard on that one.
Really nice job stopping the run, but the problem is you have 0 time.
Welcome, everybody, and we are fired up for another sensational college football matchup. Nobody at home today who can stake their claim in this neutral site showdown. Today, a ranked versus ranked matchup as a couple of top 25 teams get set to go jaw to jaw. As we'll see the number 2 team in the country, the Georgia Bulldogs, taking on the 15th ranked team in the land, the Alabama Crimson Tide. For EA Sports College Football, Reese Davis with you alongside David Pollack and Jesse Palmer. Time to get this game started. Alabama about to kick off to get things started. A rather underwhelming start as the kick. Bounds. So the decision has been made and the coach will take the penalty. A first down for the offense. Oh, this defense wants to bring some pressure. And they'll bring him to the ground after a short gain.
All right, well, the offense here, they're trying to... established. They obviously don't break off a long run there, but they're just trying to find their footing at this point.
Got 3 on first down at 2nd and 7. Not a whole lot of progress made there on the short run. Third and 6, and they'll need a big play here on this opening drive. To the air, it's Beck. He lofts it high and deep down the left side. And a pickup of better than 30 yards on that completion before the defense brings him down. And the Bulldogs getting set on 1st and 10. The ball's free. Defense falls on the ball. Going to be a turnover.
As a defender, you dream about those big hits. You work hard on it in practice, closing space, getting close, and just sticking that guy and causing the fumble.
Offense in a bunch formation. The give to the back. And this one will be stopped for no gain. Alabama pushing the tempo. On 2nd down, looking again to throw. Fires to the wideout. Reacted well to the tip, but just couldn't squeeze the football. Instead of the turnover, it'll be 3rd down. If they can convert here, that type of play can really give you a shot of momentum. On 3rd and long, trying to have a big completion here. That's caught. It's Cuevas. He knew exactly where he wanted to go with that one, and they've got enough for the first down. A new set of downs after the completion. They'll put the tight end in motion. Looking to move it through the air. Makes the catch. It's long. And that completion good for a short game, but they still have some work to do to pick up the first down. After that last completion, it's second down. The receivers often will run their route based on a side adjustment. Quickly out to the tight end. And his molars are probably rattling after that big hit, but he did get the first down. This Alabama offense is clicking. They're set up with another first down. Linebackers moving, trying to confuse the quarterback. Looking to throw it again. Had to get rid of it quickly. Hit hard as he released the ball on that first down pass, and it never had a chance. 2nd and 10 here. Looking downfield, it's Milroe. Buys a little time. He'll pull it down. He will step out of bounds, but not before the big pickup and a first down for this offense. They're about to snap it for the 7th time on this drive. Running back goes in motion. He'll come out throwing on first down. Got it in the middle, it's Miller. And the defense settled in to stop that one for a short gain. Bunch formation trying to confuse the secondary. He's looking to throw. Quick completion on the out route. They make the stop after the catch, and still some work to do to pick up that first down. Ball at the 38. The defense will try to get a stop on 3rd and short. They'll try to pick up the first through the air. Got the quick pass. They'll pick up enough yardage for the first down. They've got it at the 30.
When you're a playmaker like this guy is, your coaches are going to dial up plays intended for you, especially on 3rd down. That's what you saw in that last play. There was no question where the quarterback was going with that football. All week long, they decided on the biggest downs of this game, we're going to target our best player, and we're going to make sure that he gets looks. It doesn't matter what the coverage is, and you saw it right there on that one.
Sometimes you have to put it in a tight window, and sometimes the window is gargantuan, and it was there.
Yeah, that was one of them big old huge windows. And I tell you what, when you throw over the middle of the field, a lot of times quarterbacks are a little bit hesitant. When you're that open, it's easy to pull the trigger, easy to make the decision, make the read, get the ball to your receiver.
That was an eyelash away from being picked off, and that is not the way to set the tone with a near pick on your opening drive. To the air, it's Milroe. Moving away from pressure. Nice run there, picks up a few, and they'll force him out of bounds. They've changed ends of the field, now facing 3rd down as they go back to work. Quick strike complete. And he cruises his way to the house. Touchdown tie. The AT unit on the field. And the extra point makes it 7-0. That is what they mean when they say ball control. A 14-play touchdown drive. And the capper on that drive, the 10-yard touchdown run. No return coming. He'll call for the fair catch. And Georgia ready to go back to work on offense. That last fumble proved to be costly as they cashed it in for a touchdown.
Yeah, and so this defense now is juiced. They're excited and ready to go. So this offense, David, they've got to get something going.
Yeah, those turnovers can be contagious, man. They get you excited, and then when your offense takes it down the field and does something with it, this offense better be ready to play against a motivated defense.
The Bulldogs pick up the first down. They are letting the big dogs eat on the ground.
Pound, 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 the dog pound. Run the football, be physical. You can go back when Vince Dooley won a championship, Herschel Walker. You go all through the names. So many great running backs that run with an edge that are dogs.
Makes the catch. It's Lovett. And they finally haul him down, but not before the good catch and run. And the Dogs headed quickly to the line. The Dogs have had a long history of scrappy and efficient quarterbacks. Add a little star power to it, and you've got something working.
You definitely get a little extra something. We see it all across college football. You find that dude at the quarterback spot, it takes you from good to great, and you've seen that with Georgia over the last several seasons.
He lobs one high down the left side. Makes the grab, and he'll take it to the house. He got loose. Touchdown, Dogs!
And what did I start for this offense? The throw game getting working, getting the touchdown pass. This quarterback getting a little bit of confidence. This passing game getting in a rhythm. Nice start for this offense.
And we're all square as he's set to kick it away. Bounces through the end zone. It's a touchback. They'll bring it out to the 25. Here comes that Alabama offense. That last touchdown drive was surgical through the air, Jesse.
It sure was, and that's why this offense is so dangerous, David, because they can score in a hurry because of how efficient they are throwing the football.
Yeah, and welcome to modern college football. That's what it is. Spread you out, find my playmakers, make quick decisions, and really put defenses in a difficult situation.
Last incompletion leaves them still sitting at their own 25 with 2nd and 10. Quarterback checking the play. Looking to throw, it's Milroe. Throws to the wideout. He's got it. They've got him down at the 40 after he ripped off 15 yards. The offense lines up at the 40. They've got a first down. Linebackers shuffling around, trying to keep the quarterback from getting a read. To the air on first down. Can't find his man as he took a shot trying to deliver that football, and it'll be 2nd down. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. Moving the running back, forcing the defense to adjust. On 2nd down, he'll fire. And while the pass is incomplete, the flag is down. I think that was a free play for this offense. Defense was in the neutral zone. 2nd down here, and maybe they've got time to get one more snap off before the 2-minute warning. He's looking to throw. Under heat, and he gets rid of it. Nowhere close on that one as he got drilled trying to deliver the football, and now they face 3rd down. We'll see if they go back to the air after the incompletion. It's 3rd and 5. They keep attacking through the air. Quickly complete. At the 40, there he goes. He's off to the races. Run out of bounds after the long game, but they've got it now 1st and goal. New center downs right on the doorstep for this offense. Receivers telling the quarterback what they see. Looking to throw, it's Milroe. Now he's going to break the pocket. He steps and powers and works his way. They finally get him down at the 2.
I really like the play by the quarterback. Very, very smart. Listen, early in the downs, goal-to-go situation. Drop back. If you don't see it right away, tuck it and get positive yards. Make that next down easier so I can try to get a little bit closer to the goal line and I can get that touchdown. Headsy play by the QB.
Timeout called by the defense. It's their first of the half as they'll make some adjustments. Can the D deny them on 2nd and goal? They'll run it to the left, looking for the end zone. They bring him down, and he's going to lose a yard on that one. Referee signals timeout as the defense wanting to make sure that they have everything just right with a big play coming. 3rd and goal for the offense. Someone not clear on the snap count. It'll be a false start, and they'll move it back. The officials offer the deal, and the coach accepts it. They will take the penalty. The 8th play of the drive coming. You'd hate to settle for a field goal. It's 3rd and goal. From the gun, wants to pass. Zone. Touchdown, Crimson Tide.
And I just love the execution by this offense. Late in the half, man, you want to take the lead. You want to get that momentum on your side, and they do it. They finish it with the passing game. I'll tell you what, keep that passing game up. You can keep this lead, keep the momentum, and keep putting up numbers.
Fair catch, called for and made. Get another look at this Bulldog offense. David, they'd love to do what they did last time and put this one in the end zone.
You ain't lying. They did a great job. The offense was clicking. Everything went well. Palmer, they executed and got the touchdown.
And they really were in a nice rhythm as well. I'd love to see that here in the next drive, too. Just keep doing what you're doing. Everything seems to be working, and you seem to have this defense on their heels.
Looking to throw, it's back. Coming after it. That pass is incomplete, and they might be fortunate it wasn't knocked free for a fumble. It'll be 3rd down. They line up, and it is a long way to the sticks from here. On 3rd and long, you'll have to turn it loose deep. Gets it out quickly. And he's not going to get there. The defense stands tall and makes the stop. He just didn't have a chance to get loose and make his way to that 1st down marker.
And I think fans get upset sometimes. Like, run your route past the sticks so we get the 1st down. But nice job by the defense understanding where the sticks were and forcing the 4th down.
On 4th down, he'll try to toss it. Makes the catch, he's got enough. He's run out of bounds, but not before turning in a big pickup and moving the sticks for a 1st down. The Dogs come to the line with a fresh set of downs. He breaks a tackle. Creating some space, getting just enough good blocking, and they've got it up to the 47-yard line. There's a timeout called as this offense tries to find a way to draw a little closer. And a decent gain there before the defense makes the stop. They'll hurry to the line here to try to get off that third down play. He steps out of bounds, but he's got enough for a first down. Running out of time here in the first half, they're going to have to be efficient to put some points on the board before the break. Use the play fake, now to throw. And the defense wraps up the first half by taking it to the quarterback and getting a sack. And that'll do it. Here in the second quarter, halftime has arrived, and we head to the studio.
Alabama 14, Georgia 7.
Ready to get things going here in the second half as Georgia about to kick it away. Not going to risk a return here. He'll make the fair catch. The Tide offense rolls onto the field. They got plenty done through the air in the first half, and we'll see if they even need to look for balance as we start the third quarter.
Well, and I think defensively, you understand, like the running game isn't a big part of the plan. I wonder how they adjust and play more coverage to this pass-happy offense.
Yeah, so you're going to have to be ready if you're a quarterback, Ben. You're probably going to see some different coverages. You might see a little bit more blitz in the second half as well, so you have to know where your answers are.
To throw, it's Milroe getting some heat. Fires into traffic, intercepted. Going the other way, and he's got room. And he's going to take it all the way back. Touchdown, Bulldogs! This time it's the defense finding ways to put points on the board.
There is nothing better than being a defender. Seeing that ball in the end zone, your eyes get big as saucers. Go, jump on that puppy, secure it. Gets you a touchdown.
And after that extra point, we have a tie ball game in the third quarter. All tied up and just about set to kick it away. And they thought about a return, then thought better of it. They'll bring it out to the 25. Here comes that Alabama offense. Well, the good news is they threw a touchdown pass last time. It was just to the wrong team, Jesse.
Well, that's an unfortunate part of the game for quarterbacks, but guess what? They do happen, so you've got to be able to turn the page here and lead this offense.
Well, I think you know this defense is going to be aggressive. They're going to jump routes. They're going to play aggressive. You got to take advantage of that. Maybe use that this time to your advantage.
Quarterback checking off. Movement here from the tight end. He's looking for a man on second down. Throws to the tight end. And the pass is incomplete. Jarred loose by the hit.
The big tight end tries to make a catch, and you can tell extends for the ball, but great job by the defender getting in there, making the hit, dislodging the football out at the same time as he's going to catch it, and the big tight end couldn't hold on to it.
Grabbed over the middle. It's Hale. He might have expected to see this DB up in his receiver's kitchen. Instead, nice little zone, and they pick up the first.
Man, offenses are getting so good, Reese, at seeing the holes in the zone, knowing you're in zone, knowing where to sit down, how to make it an easy pitch and catch for the quarterback, and that's what it was on third and short.
They'll throw it on first down. Looking to the big tight end. And he dropped it, just didn't hook the thing all the way in.
You know, this tight end's a weapon in the passing game. He runs good routes, normally has good hands, but didn't happen there.
Assault continues. Finds space on the right. And they reacted well to the completion, but it was too late to keep them from getting the first down. Alabama rolling quickly downfield, set up with another first down. Looking for a man. It's Milroe. Finds the tight end. And an absolutely fearless tackle, giving up size, and still got him on the turf.
Nice quick throw there, and it's so important for quarterbacks to be able to find a rhythm and to be comfortable and confident. You want to just get the ball out quickly, make it an accurate and easy throw, and you can tell that these two guys guys, they rep that play in practice all the time, and it's now showing up here on game day.
Caught close to the marker, it's Miller. He's run out of bounds, but a big play on that one, and it'll be a first down. And now a fresh set of downs for this offense. Now the quarterback changing the original play call. Comes out throwing on first down. Grabbed in the middle, it's Law. Excellent job working through the air there, finding a hole in that defense and picking up a first down.
And there was no question in that scenario. That's where the quarterback was going. He knew he had his receiver in a matchup that he liked, running a route where he would find himself open. Nice job between those two.
And he was drilled just as he released the pass. It's incomplete.
And finally, the defense is able to get some pressure on this quarterback. They have been trying all game long, different ways to affect him. Weren't able to get there. But on that play, because of the pressure, it affected his accuracy, and that's why the ball falls incomplete.
Nice job of avoiding the sack and picking up a few on the run.
Well, great job there by the defense because they weren't able to get him sacked right away, but you saw the coverage in the back end. Nowhere for the quarterback to throw the football. Didn't get the sack, obviously. You don't get the negative play, but you also don't give up the big one. You're feeling pretty good about where you are right now in this drive.
Dropping back, it's Milroe. Flushed out of the pocket. He took a hit as he threw it and couldn't deliver the football. It's incomplete and fourth down's coming. And if the kicker can put one through, this will be a successful drive. Good right down the boulevard. And they've regained the lead. After putting up a three-spot, the kickoff unit set to go. And that is not the optimal solution there. The kickoff out of bounds, and the offense will have a little bit easier time of things. First down here for the offense. Use the play fake, now to throw. Hit hard just as he released it on first down and just couldn't get it to the receiver. Second and 10 after the previous play. He's looking to throw. Quickly complete.
You know, oftentimes these slot receivers, they're not the biggest guys in the world, but they're really good at finding the open spaces in the middle of the field. And you saw that guy attack the defense in the perfect spot, making life easy for his QB.
He's knocked down in the backfield. He'll lose a couple. Georgia going up tempo. Wide receiver now comes in motion. On fourth down, going to the air. Looking deep down the right side. And it's incomplete, and the defense stands tall and gets off the field.
Man, that is just a great job on defense there on fourth down, making a play on the ball in the air. Everybody had their eyes on the quarterback, but having great timing, swatting the ball away and doing it cleanly. No PI. And as a result, that defense has earned a rest. They're coming off the field.
Back to throw, it's Milroe. Using the quick game. Hey, that's a live ball. Now the defense has got it going the other way. Just enough time for one more snap before the end of the quarter. Going to the ground. They get him on the ground, and that'll be the final play of this third period.
That's the end of the third quarter. With the score now around 17, Georgia 14.
Second down now as they're ready to go back to work. They move the tight end all over. He's dropped behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a loss of 3.
Yeah, and this offense has to find a way to run the football. They got to get more creative, but whatever that looks like for this offense, something to jumpstart them because nothing really going on the ground.
Yeah, defensively, though, you got to give them credit, too, because they knew that physically they were going to try to be challenged up front. That was a big MO for this offense coming into it. But the defense, they've risen to the occasion. Their front seven has dominated this entire game.
Quarterback moving out of the pocket. He's going to run it. And sure, tackling there to keep him from getting to the first down marker. Trailing by a possession, they need to keep the ball. They'll try to convert on 4th down. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. He's got it, and they convert. Turns out to be an easy conversion for this offense as they move the chains on 4th down. Georgia coming out with a fresh set of downs. We'll give him a couple on that one. 2nd and 8 coming up.
I never know if it's grammatically correct to say a team is being out-physical. You hear it a lot in football, though. That's happening in this game. They are just not getting the push they need all game long up front to have any success when they decide to run it.
They pull him down after a 4-yard gain down to the 24.
I think they called that knowing they weren't going to hit a home run. So why would you call it that? Well, you call it so 3rd down becomes an easier down. It's not 3rd and long where I have to pass the football. Now all options on the table.
Back to pass, it's back. Out of the backfield, he's open.
Man, I love on 3rd down when I know I have a running back that can beat guys. Whether you want to cover me with a linebacker or a safety, I can run an angle route, and I can have success because my quarterback knows exactly when he's going to break, and that defense is not going to beat my running back.
This Georgia offense moving quickly down the field. The give to the back. And I think they'll give him 2 on that one. 2nd and 8 coming up. Going to work in the red zone. They can't pick up the first down without getting it into the end zone. These corners backing off a bit. On 2nd down, wants to throw. Pocket starts to collapse. That pass is incomplete, and they're probably fortunate that it wasn't knocked free for a fumble.
3rd and long, defense knows the pass is coming, so they're going to have guys with their eyes on the QB, but they're going to try to get two-hand with pressure, pinning their ears back. If you're on offense, you might be thinking blitz here. You better get rid of this one quick.
The offense showing motion from the tight end, trying to get a read on the D. Got some room, headed to the goal line. Touchdown, Georgia! And they've moved out front here in the 4th.
Man, I love this offense, being able to run the football late in the game when it matters and punch it in for the touchdown, and more importantly, take the lead.
About to kick it away after scoring the touchdown. It bounds through the back of the end zone, and it'll be a touchback. The Tide offense rolls onto the field. There's plenty of time to work with here, but they have to be highly efficient in their attack, Jesse.
So it comes down to the quarterback position too, Reese. Don't let the moment get too big. Play within yourself, David, because this guy's practiced this situation before.
No doubt. Use the sidelines. They're your friend. I don't have to take deep shots. Throw beyond the first down marker so I can stop that clock for a little bit and possibly use my timeouts.
Quarterback reacting to what the D is showing. Back to throw, it's Milroe. Gets it out fast. And he'll go down, but he has enough for the first down. New set of downs after that completion. Looking to go up top on first down. Catch in the middle, it's Cuevas.
I don't know who on defense is going to cover this guy. Honestly, he could be a problem for this defense over the middle of the field in the passing game.
Got to get everybody lined up quickly. Time winding away, and they've got to push the ball down the field. Pulls it in. It's Williams. They immediately call timeout, trying to preserve every second they can to try to rally here late. Here comes the offense on second down. He's looking to throw. Uncorks one. Got his man. Brought down at the 32-yard line. Picks up 15 yards on the play and an important first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Linebackers trying to create some confusion. He's going to pass. Got it in the middle. It's Hale. Offense will use a timeout with 28 ticks remaining.
That receiver found the open space in the zone coverage, and as a defense, honestly, you just throw your hands up on that because they covered it pretty well. It was just a good play call and really nice execution.
Defense a little too jumpy there, and they got into the neutral zone too soon. So the decision has been made, and the coach will take the penalty. Line gets set, first down. Quarterback changing the plays at the line. They're looking to pass from the red zone. He wants it all. Touchdown, Alabama! And in the final moments, they've taken the lead. And he knocks it through, and the lead is a field goal here in the fourth quarter. So that scoring drive took only 6 plays. And what a late touchdown in the final minute that is likely the game winner here. He'll call for the fair catch here. Got to move quickly here. They need to get it to field goal range. Coming out on first down with the play fake. Just a short pass to the tight end. And he'll step across the sidelines after making a good gain on that one.
So surprised we have not been calling this guy's name more. He's one of the best tight ends in the country, but give the defense credit. They have had an outstanding game plan limiting him so far. That's only his second catch of the game.
Back to throw, it's Beck. They're bringing heat. Pass is incomplete. The clock is down to 9.
Well, I know it hasn't been a tremendous day statistically for this quarterback, but his decision-making has been good enough to win this game. Hasn't thrown a lot of TDs so far, but when things aren't open, he throws it away like on that play right there. He's not putting his team in a bad spot, and that's why they still have a shot to walk out of here with a W.
They get the timeout call with 7 seconds left on the clock. Down a possession here in the fourth, and they'll need to convert on this fourth down. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. And that ball is picked off. They didn't give him much of a chance to make that play even bigger, but the turnover has him set up at the 16. So with the late lead, they're ready to just drain the clock in victory formation. This quarterback happy enough to take a knee and head to the locker room, but the defense still does have a couple of timeouts if they want to use them. You want to talk about building confidence? Coming through with clutch plays making the winning plays at the right time can really set the course for the rest of the season.
Yeah, Reese, maturity and experience matters. And this team has guys that have played a lot of snaps. They've seen a lot of looks, and they've lost close games like this in the past. That wasn't the case today, David. Too many guys out there making big-time plays.
And I think belief is what you build. That confidence, you know you're going to win. You don't think you're going to win. You know you're going to make that play in the big moment that continues to build on week-to-week success. And you look up and you're like, dang, we strung a couple wins together.
That's going to do it for us from here. For Jesse Palmer, David Pollack, I'm Reese Davis, and this has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.